everyone, welcome back to Faith Wings. I'm Melissa, and today I have a Bible verse for you. So I have kind of not been really hearing God so much lately, and to be fair, I haven't been listening very well either, but I normally see more verses and see more scripture passages around in my life, and I just really haven't had that the past couple of weeks. I'm not too worried about it though. Things have been pretty crazy, but I think that this verse is important for me to talk about because for the first time in quite a while now, I saw one that just randomly came up in my life. And so I'm going to read it to you today, and I'll talk about what it means for me. Obviously, I think that everyone needs to kind of discern what it means for them, but I'm just going to read the whole passage and let me know what you think. Okay, so let's get into it. It is Colossians chapter 3, and the verse that I found was chapter 3:23. But I'm just going to read the whole little paragraph that's in my Bible. And this is the NLT version of the Bible. Okay, so the title of it is Instructions for Christian Households. Wives, submit to your husbands, as is fitting for those who belong to the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, never treat them harshly. Children, always obey your parents, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not aggravate your children, or they will become discouraged. Slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything you do. Try to please them all the time, not just when they are watching. Serve them sincerely because of your reverent fear of the Lord. And then this is the verse. Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you are working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember that the Lord will give you an inheritance as your reward, and that the master you are serving is Christ. But if you do what is wrong, you will be paid back for the wrong you've done, for God has no favorites. So this verse is interesting. The one that came to me was the 3:23, which is work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. And I really like this because lately I've had trouble with work and just discipline with it, I guess. But when we put our work into the context of this is for Christ, or this is for the Lord, this is for the higher good, for us and for the higher good in general, then it kind of gives more meaning, especially when we're in difficult situations. At least for me, it makes me feel a little bit better about having to sacrifice time for work, having to, I don't know, it makes it more fulfilling, I think, if you come at work from this lens. And so I think that this is something that is good for me to have heard at the time, right now. The other parts of this section are also interesting to me, including the wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting for those who belong to the Lord. I think that this is interesting because I feel like women now are taught to not submit to men. And I just want to point out that they're talking about your husband. So it's not necessarily every man you're supposed to submit to or anything according to this. And so I don't know, I find that to be interesting. And I know some other Christian groups besides just overall Christian, they get more specific with the meaning of this, but I think that we all should, interpret it how we see fit and what feels true to us. I get that the Bible has a lot of instruction, but I also like the second part of this verse, which is husbands, love your wives and never treat them harshly. So it's kind of okay, if the wives are going to submit, then the husbands should never abuse that and they should never take advantage of that. So there's this balance of power as well. And I also like talking about the children and encouraging them to listen to their parents, but at the same time reminding fathers don't mistreat your children. Make sure that you don't aggravate them or don't try and discourage them. It's not right, and it'll hurt them. And that's not how Christian households are supposed to work. So I think that that's really cool too. I just think that like the setup for a Christian household is really nice and loving. I do think that in modern society, we kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not, it depends on what submitting means because I don't know if I could do it like easily ever. You know, like I feel like it's, I don't know, like sometimes I think it gets taken too far personally for me to be happy with it, but I guess that's why we all have our own partners and our own situations. So whatever you want to do, feel free to do that, you know, like, but this is what Paul recommends. This is what's in the Bible. And I do think that like we should recognize it as the truth. And with that comes recognizing that there are inherent benefits to living in like a Christian household set up this way, even if we as modern people don't necessarily like to hear it. But I think the ultimate point of this verse and why it came to me was it's related to like my work, and like I've been working very hard with multiple projects going on in my life, and it's very easy to get like bogged down by that, like to get to the point where I'm just overwhelmed by work that I forget to even like recognize what I'm doing this for, you know, like why I'm working hard, what is the ultimate purpose. And I think we all can kind of be guilty of that sometimes when we get caught up in daily life things. But let me know what you think. Do you also tend to get caught up in your work? Did this verse help you when thinking about it? Because I know it helped me. All right, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.